Hello, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Royalty. We are your hosts. I am Tiffany.
And I am Derek F, aka Big D.
And we are here to recap you on your favorite number one streaming show, The Traitors. This is
Season
episode
2.
6. Oh, yes, The Traitors Season 2. And right now, today, we're going to talk about episode 6, Backstab and Betrayal. I miss a lot of that.
Backstab and Betrayal. It just sounds like home to us. Tiffany, I see you have your teacup.
I do.
Cheers.
Cheers, honey. The love of my life. Big D, besides my cat Tiger, you love me so much.
I do love you a lot.
The love of my life. It's the most true love I've ever felt.
Yes, I know. And I wish I could give you all the loving right now, but unfortunately I'm sick. So I cannot give you any loving right now. But everyone, welcome to the Royalty. Tiffany, tonight's episode. Let me just first say, this show has been iconic. I have never been so glued to my TV screen until this show. I
say that.
I can say that. Big Brother don't have me on my toes like that. Survivor, sometimes, but this takes me to like a whole new level. Like, I'm always like, what's going to happen? But they did ruin it for us last week, where we knew that Bergie was not going home. So that was annoying, because I wish we didn't know, because that ruined the breakfast part for me. So hopefully, we don't do that anymore moving forward. But Tiff, get into what's going on. First of all, how are you doing? You look amazing as always.
Oh, thank you.
I love this yellow on you.
Thank you. It's actually like a vomit green, but it's yellow.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I'm great. Went to the gym today, worked out, been being positive and productive this year, and I'm happy. I am happy. So, yeah.
I'm so proud of you. Good.
You?
I can't wait. I'm out the gym this week, unfortunately, just because of
You're under the
me
weather.
being underneath the weather. But I'm trying to do well, get fluids in me, and hopefully I'll be better to be ready next week. And then I also start my new journey. Can't tell you what it is, but I start my new journey next week of some things that I'm going to be doing. So, yeah, that's all I got for you.
You don't discuss journeys with your wife?
I do, but not on a public show. But we could talk about it offline.
Okay. Well, let's jump into Traitors if I have to jump on your back.
Yeah, let's get to it, because I want to get to the best Big Brother player of all time, because you guys better get ready, because I got a lot to say.
Okay. All right. So this episode of Traitors starts off immediately. Alan announces that Bergie has the shield and there will be no murder. But the house doesn't know that. And so we start off at breakfast. Kate is back.
Kate is back, and she's letting it know that she is back, okay?
And Kate is back, and people are like asking her questions at breakfast. Parvati and Sheree like, Kate, what do you think? And Kate's like, girl, I just got here. I don't even know your names. I mean,
Which I'm living for Kate's commentary. And they were the first 3 to walk in. So let's just make sure we make note. Those were the first 3 to walk in.
Yes. So then Dan, CT, Sandra comes in. Dan wants Bergie so bad he can taste it. He's like a burnt duck on Thanksgiving, okay? And he knows if Bergie is murdered and Bergie really was pointing a finger at him at the round table, he's taking a big chance on people thinking that it's him, but he's willing to take that chance. So Fedra comes in next. Of course, Fedra didn't want to murder Bergie, so she's not happy, and you can tell she's not happy at this breakfast this morning.
She's not at all. MJ comes in after, which I don't really have anything for MJ. I'm gonna tell you that now. MJ had
low
potential.
vibration?
Yes, because MJ had so much potential, But after the last week's episode, I ain't got no faith for her. I'm like, they should kill her off next. I will say that. Okay. Then comes Kevin and Peter. Mm-hmm. Kevin and Peter come in. Peter is, let me tell you something. Peter looked like he is living his best life. He's like, this is the best breakfast ever, because he knows his plan that he executed last week is going to happen. He's like, these traitors are going to fall into my trap.
And Peter is trying to trap a traitor. Now we are down to the last three, which are Trishelle, John, and Bergie. And Peter believes that his trap has worked because Trishelle and John come in, and Trishelle knows when she realizes that everyone else is there except Bergie, that Bergie is also not dead because she has a shield and Bergie has a shield. And so Peter believes that his trap has worked. Dan is excited that Bergie is gone, and Peter is game-oning everyone. Game on, game on. And I'm like, does everyone not see this high five game on? You see what we did? We getting them. And then Bergie walks in. Here go Dan.
Dan.
Hi. Hey.
Dan look like when we, you ever, let me tell you something, next time you look at somebody, do the Dan face. This Dan look like when somebody, you don't remember nobody's name, but you got to smile. Mm-hmm. You just like,
hey, yeah.
He looked like us at every meet and greet.
How you doing? Oh my gosh.
So good to see you. Yes, you. Yes, you.
I like this. Like, what is this noise?
He looked
cute.
Shook. He looked shook, okay? Now, Peter, let me tell you something about little Peter, okay? Peter,
pumpkin eater.
I don't know. I hope he's big. But Peter, okay, the pilot who I would take his rose any day.
All right.
Okay. The fact that he's over here telling Trishelle, he's like reminding everybody to plan, like you said, Tiff. He's like, let you know that I told 3 people only. So it has to be these.
Peter.
And what was the 3 people that he told, Tiff?
Well, first he told CT. He told Dan, and he told Parvati. But before he reveals that he told these people, when Bergie walks in, Bergie announces, I had a shield. And he also says, I got
the shield.
The death warrant.
Look at this. This is the shield. Look at it.
And here go the death warrant. They tried to kill me.
They tried to kill me.
They tried to take me out. And so then Peter realizes his trap actually did work. He admits that he had a plan in play to trap a traitor. And so then someone says, well, go ahead.
I want to take a moment for fucking Sheree. Okay? Because Sheree don't know anything that's going on in this game. They always love to cut to Sheree, and Sheree talking about something. What's going on? I don't know what's happening. What's going on in this game? What is happening? Sheree could listen. If she played this role like really good, she could be a traitor. Cause like I would never think that Sheree is a traitor. The way that she doesn't know anything, she's like, what's going on?
Not a damn thing. So, someone kind of asks, like, well, who did you tell? Because, Peter's like...
Sandra asked that question.
Sandra, okay. So Sandra asked, like, who did you tell? And so Peter says, so CT comes out and admits, he's like, well, you told me, but I don't give a fuck,
I'm not a traitor, so I mean,
you can tell me
all you want.
And Parvati Parvati admits that she was told in confidence and she hasn't revealed it to anybody. I mean, like you told me, but you told me in confidence, so I haven't said a thing. And Dan says, well, you told me too, but I'm not a traitor. Well, he sounded like he was 6. That's your defense. Now, you told me, but I'm not a traitor. And so Fedra is like, well, no one told me anything. Anyway,
anything.
Can you pass me a crumpet?
She
not involved.
The one thing Fedra gonna do, she gonna eat at that breakfast. I'm gonna tell you that. She gonna get her breakfast meal.
Please pass me that strawberry jam, please. Thank you.
Are the eggs boiled? Can you pass me those eggs? Like, she don't play no games.
Do we have any poached eggs?
So,
Peter is on to Dan and Parvati.
And Parvati, decides she wants to have a conversation with Peter, okay?
Yeah. So before that,
yes.
Peter is talking and he's like, I don't think that CT reacted like a traitor. So then they have their social after breakfast. And so then Peter, MJ, and Fedra are discussing reactions. And Fedra again reiterates that she didn't hear anything. And then Parvati calls Peter and they have a little sit down.
And how did the sit down go? Because I
honestly, Big D, can I tell you something? I don't know if it's just me. I'm impressed. I think
I'm not impressed.
I think I would be shaking. I would be scared. If you call me out and you tricked me, you stumped me, you trapped me, I fell for it. I allowed myself to fall for the trap. You called me out in front of breakfast at everybody. I in front of everyone. I probably can't even eat. So then for me to have to call you to talk to you, and to already have a rebuttal to I'm playing catch up. You already have made your move. You checked me. And I didn't even know I was in check. So when she pulls him, she's like, well, so how do I know that you're not a traitor? And I mean, I guess that's a great, putting somebody on the defense. And he's like, and Peter comes up with a very good comeback. And he says, well, I've been planting seeds to find the traitor. What seeds have you planted to trap a traitor?
Gagged her, choked her, gagged her.
Because only a traitor wouldn't be planting seeds looking for a traitor.
Now, Tiff, I'm not saying, what I'm not impressed about is that her react, the way she was trying to play it off, I could see through that bullshit. That's why I'm like, Peter could see through that bullshit. That's what I'm getting at. I'm not impressed.
I guess.
And maybe, being in that environment, you just got caught. You're not used to this type of thing. It's like, but
she's
in reality,
very cold.
She
doesn't seem
cold.
Nervous. I think
I don't know. Her
nervous.
demeanor would have gave me her demeanor and how she answered it or how she reacted to it would have gave me traitor. Because in reality, can I tell you what I would have done? I probably would have sat there. I would have never pulled him to the side. I would have just said when he walked by, "Hey Peter, when you have some time, maybe we could talk. I think you got a little bit of a misunderstanding about me, but I understand if right now it's not good." And I would have did it. That's the way
to be not bothered.
Let me
I'm
stop.
unbothered.
Let me stop talking before I give stuff away. But it's just a way to do things. She's just like, let's talk in this room. She sits down. How are you? How I know you're not a traitor?
Yeah.
Bitch, that's something that a traitor would say. You just got caught. Baby, you just got caught and it's one of you 3.
Well, it's interesting because right after that, Dan does the same thing. Dan pulls Peter too. And then
Dan hasn't been a big brother because that's a big brother thing. The one person go out the room, you go right in after them.
He did.
You're nervous.
He went
That's
and
a big
pulled
brother
him.
thing.
He did. And I will say Dan did realize he's been playing too passive of a game. And he admits that Peter is playing way more advanced than he gave the Bachelor pilot credit for. He thought that Peter was only good for handing out roses. Peter has a brain. You don't get to become a pilot not thinking and not thinking strategically. Okay, you have to be smart. In order to be a pilot, to go through pilot school, you got to get A's. You got to have them good grades. Okay, I know because my son is looking at pilot school, and so I went through orientation. I said, you gonna get all A's. Peter ain't dumb, because do you want you a D pilot? You don't want you a no D student pilot. Peter smart. So Peter admits to Dan that he is convinced that Dan is a traitor. He is not sugarcoating it. He's not, he's very adamant and he's very fixed.
I love Peter.
Yeah, I like
Peter, listen, Peter, I'm here open mouth, open legs, whatever you need it, because you deserve it. I love how you took command and just took that moment and just told him to his face, you're a traitor. I love me someone who's a straight shooter. Just a straight shooter. Ooh.
Because it's hot in here.
Okay, so Tiff, we get to the mission, okay? Yes. Alan, let me shout out to Alan and his outfit. He is wearing this kilt with like a blue like royal underneath. He made it known he's only showing up just to show you how good looking he looks.
Period.
We love that for Alan, okay? This mission is supposed to take them back to the medieval times, and it's worth $20K, okay? The goal is, and I hope I say this right, if not, who gives a fuck? Y'all know what the hell I'm talking about. You have to find all the pieces for the catapult in order to shoot the cannonball onto a target, okay? And this is not like a let me just go around the corner and find the pieces. It's like scattered up the hill, okay? Now Kate has a flashback moment because Kate goes, damn, I did this hill before. This hill's horrible. I struggled on it. Why are we going back through this hill? Like, oh my God. Like, I just want to sit around and enjoy and be in the castle and play this game. Kate thinks that she is here for a vacation, okay? And she's letting it know. Welcome to the Traitors, okay? Alan lets everyone know that there is shield boxes on the way as you're collecting the pieces. But you have to carry that shield box to cross the line when you get up top. But the mission has to be completed in order for you to qualify for a shield.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. So they've got to carry these catapult pieces up the hill. It is the windiest day. Okay, let me just say that. Hair blowing in the wind. They've got to fire the cannon in 60 minutes. The players who cross the line with the ammo shield box can play for the shield. Peter is planning on going for a shield automatically because he knows he's going to get killed. Now they're walking along.
Trishelle too, because she was worried about everything that happened.
She's thinking about going for a shield, but Peter makes it known, like, I definitely need a shield. Now, they are walking up this hill, and they come across a river. Now, they are preparing some of these traitors to go back to the challenge. Because I'm looking at this river. I don't know, I might have took my shoes off because I don't want to walk in wet shoes after.
You don't know what the bottom is on that river?
I don't know, man. I don't want to walk in wet, soggy socks and shoes. My feet.
That would be my worst fear. What's on the bottom? Cutting my foot or something crazy. Now, I hope you keep that in mind for future challenges. Keep your damn shoes on. No, do not take them off.
Honey, Sandra got carried by the current. She falling.
Wait.
Sheree screaming, "Get up, girl! Get up!
Get up, girl!
You got to get up! You, Sandra, get up!"
I think she thought because Sandra played Survivor that she was good in the water. But let me tell you my favorite part is, okay? Miss Phaedra Park, attorney of lawyer, who's holding CT, falling on CT like a damn distress. She like this. Oh, help me. I'm so scared.
Them housewives don't be getting in no water on no TV show. I seen them at one pool party. Nobody was in the water. And the only thing I saw, and that wasn't even the housewives. That was, I don't even know, that was basketball wives. So never mind. I don't even think they get involved in such.
A lot of housewives do not get in water. And if they do, it's usually somewhere that's tropical. But it was just funny watching Phaedra hold on to CT for dear life, like a dandle in stress, watching her fall, watching her scream in the water. Let me tell you what the best part is. I want to get back to Phaedra, but I want to cut to Trishelle. Trishelle is getting helped by Kevin, okay? She looks up and she sees the shield. She looks back at Kevin while he's holding her and tells him, I gotta get that shield.
I sure
like if he's
drag
he's
him.
supposed to, right? Like if he's supposed to help her over there. So then he's like, "What? What are you talking about? No,
Said, I
like,
don't need your help.
I don't need your help no more." So she starts taking off. He starts taking off behind her. He's falling. She's in front of him, and she gets this shield, and he's like, "Really,
Yeah, really? What did you think?
And then we cut back to Sandra, Fedra, and CT. Let me tell you something. Now, I'm not trying to put anything out there, but you know there was some hot. This is a hot take.
Oh Lord.
Twitter in the streets are saying that Fedra and CT maybe be dating or maybe, kind of been hanging out. Because let me tell you something. She was holding that man's hand even after they crossed that damn river. Did you catch that?
Well, let me just say something here. As someone who has been accused of sleeping and fraternizing and dating every single man I have been photographed with, and I'm not, and I haven't, and I haven't slept with them.
You haven't slept with me? You said every man you've been photographed with.
So I find it, I take little... it carries little weight for me when I see a man and a woman together. I don't think it always means something, because it has been too many men have been attached to me that I don't have anything to do with. So I'm not going to do that to Miss Queen Fedra until I myself get more than a picture or what the fans think. I'm not going to let the fans convince me that just because they could just easily be friends. I mean,
and that's okay. Listen, I'm saying it's a good thing. I love CT. I'm
saying it's a nothing.
Okay, then we'll let it be a nothing. Or guess what? Phaedra was playing the part, and she did great.
She should
add to it. So Trishelle gets a shield. Okay,
well, she gets a shield box.
She gets a shield box. So now she is, able to play in the competition if they complete in the running to get the shield. Okay. Now it is time for them to get to the second, I guess we'll call it like the second part of this, like, I don't know, road challenge. Like they're going crazy. Okay. They find a wheel, like a little sled that they're able to pull stuff. So now they're able to kind of start picking up bags and carrying bags, but on the way that they're picking up this stuff, there's shields. So then Peter sees a shield, he goes for it, runs, grabs it. Okay. Then I think the next person that saw a shield, was it Sheree or Sandra?
Yeah. Nope, it's Sheree. Sheree grabbed the shield ammo box and a bag. She said, I might not know what the hell going on, but I can carry this box in this bag.
She does she work out? She's like, I work out. I'm ready. I'm not like the rest of these housewives. I could do stuff. Okay. So then after that, Sandra grabs the next shield. Okay. Now, they get up to this hill, all right, and they have to now pull this sled up the hill. Okay, they're thinking like, all right, we're gonna pull this sled up the hill, and that's gonna be it. Okay, and these guys and everyone is working hard to try to do this. But I will say, I feel like CT is doing the grunt work of this.
When you say the sled, they're pulling the catapult machine.
No, not yet. We didn't get that. Just the sled. Remember, they had to pull the sled up. They had to pull the sled up. Okay. And then once they got over a certain hump, here comes the catapult.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So, Tiff, they get to this catapult, girl, and what happens?
I mean, they had to 1, 2, 3. So the men get in there and they start dragging this catapult machine up. All right. So the women are carrying the shield ammo boxes, and they get to a point where the ammo boxes need to be placed on the hay in order to be able to compete to play for the actual shield. Well, it's the women that are carrying these boxes, and they're setting them down, and then Kate ends up with the last box, but Peter is somewhere pulling this catapult, and Trishelle runs and gets him. She's like, hey, you need to go over there and get that shield box, because Kate is about to get ready to put it on the hay, and then she's going to be in the running.
But Tiff, before we even get to that, the catapult is like, this catapult is heavy. Oh, yeah. They're like, this time that they're pulling this, they are struggling with this catapult. Keep in mind, they got John in the front. John in the front pulling.
Okay, keep in mind that I forgot about John.
They are working so hard to get this catapult, and time is running out. Like, what's his name? It's like, you got about 30. I think he said they had less than 10 minutes to get there. Am I right about that?
Listen, I forgot that John was even there.
Don't forget Tiffany, don't you forget about my favorite player.
I looked up, I said, player. I was like, he's still there. All right. So John is still there. And they get there. Peter finally does make it to the haystack to place his ammo box in the running to play. And John, your favorite player, finally has a part in this game. He gets to pull the catapult.
He does get to pull the catapult because he's an icon. He's a legend. He's a star.
Well, he pulled the catapult and the team won their $20,000 for the pot. So now
it's time to do the shield competition. Mm-hmm. Okay. And they all have to each, pull this catapult. And let me tell you something. Let me tell you one thing. Production gonna get their money worth out of this catapult. They're like, we're gonna make sure they do the challenge with it. They're gonna make sure they do the shield with it. Mm-hmm. He's like, we're gonna use this. This is gonna be great for TV for the middle. What is it called? Medieval times. That's exactly what they said.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So each person has to get up there and pull this catapult, and the closest to the target will win the shield. Okay. Mm-hmm. So first up is Sandra, right, Tiff?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sandra's up first. Sandra kind of hits at the bottom. Mm-hmm. Then after Sandra, I think it was Trishelle. Trishelle kind of hits a little bit closer towards the end of the bottom and out. Then you have Poverty. She goes. She kind of, it gets a little close. Then here comes Sheree. Sheree hits it, and she hits it really close to this damn target. Like, pretty close to the target. And then Peter's like, Peter needs this. Peter's like, they're coming for me. Like, I have now sniffed them out. They're coming for me. Okay? I know these traitors. They're coming for me. So Peter's like, I think I'm going to have to try my best. He tried his best, and he didn't get it. So Sheree ends up winning this shield, okay? The person who doesn't need it.
Sheree, who doesn't need a shield at all.
Doesn't know what's going on. Doesn't even know what's going on. What's going on in this game?
It ain't one person coming for Sheree. Sheree's name has never been written down. Sheree's name probably won't be written down. Sheree, who don't need protection in this game at all, won the shield. But she was happy too. She said, I've never won a shield because you did not ever need one.
Yeah, so like you said, Tim, Sheree does not need this damn shield. She's ready to write everyone's. You know what? At this point, Sheree's ready to write Alan's name at this point. She don't know who the traitor is. She just going with the flow.
Can
she
Alan be a traitor?
Yeah.
What's the rules again?
What's the rules? Because at this point, if I would have given Sheree credit, I would have been like, I think it's Kate.
No,
Kate just got here. She could be a traitor.
Because Sheree is so non-threatening in this game, Sheree has a great chance of winning and making it to the end. Like, I could see her.
If she don't get these damn traitors out.
Well, just think about it. Fedra's a traitor, and Fedra's not going to let anything happen to Sheree if she can help it.
That is true. That is true.
So she'd be at the end, with one of her close allies. And she'd have to call her out. And I don't know if Sheree would do that.
Oh, we cut to the castle, okay? Because we got to get to the good, juicy shit. So we cut to the castle to Peter. Everyone's now eating dinner, lunch, whatever. And let me tell you something. I feel like they eat really good on this show. I'm not going to lie. Everything looks good. Catered.
Look who you have. You can't ask these people to stop their lives, come with us to Scotland, to this country, and then feed them bologna and hot dogs.
Not bologna and hot dogs. Sounds like you had bologna and hot dogs before. Now, Peter tells, after he grabs his dinner, his lunch or whatever, he pulls Sandra, Sheree, John, and Bergie into a room, and he wants to talk about who they're going to target, okay? As he's pulling these people in the room, Tim, who comes knocking on who comes to stop the door from closing?
Parvati. Okay.
Of course, because she's like,
Oh, can I come
what's
in?
going on, man? Peter goes,
give us 1 minute.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. Peter is eating the competitors up, okay? Peter said, no, 1 minute. She's so stunned. She's gagged. He's gagging them. And I'm gagged. He don't care. He like, let me talk to them. And he lets them know, he thinks that it is either, he says, did he say CT again? Did he say CT, Dan? Did he tell them the plan?
No, he really just said, the group just really reiterated that they feel like it's Parvati, even if it's not Dan. They think it's Parvati. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Bergie admit, yes.
So then after, he goes, all right, let me go get her. Mm-hmm. He goes, gets her. And she's, let me tell you something. I will give her this. She's trying to play cool, calm, and collected.
But I'm saying
she's but I can see the steam as she's walking. Mm. You can tell she's just, and she's like, you're going to gather up everybody and tell them that you think it's me. And what about you? And let me tell you something. This is how you know Peter, let me tell you something. Peter, that nigga. Okay, let me tell you why. Because he leaned back, he crossed his legs, and he said, yeah, I'm a traitor. In her face. He laughed at her face. She said, because you can be a traitor.
Yeah, and he's like, okay, then I'm a traitor.
Okay, then I'm a traitor. Let's vote you out, but then vote me out next. Cool, I'm a traitor.
And she tries to ask Bergie, like, Bergie, what about, like, you've been, nobody suspects you. And then he admits to her that Dan's name is out there. I'm not going to say you, Parv, but yeah. So then Parvati calls out Bergie, Peter, Trishelle, John. She's like, you guys.
Notice she didn't call out Sandra because she knows Sandra will clock her real quick. Okay.
Why do you have my name rolling off your tongue?
She don't want that smoke. That's one person she will not touch.
I'm really impressed that Sandra and Parvati have gotten along this
me
thus
too.
Far.
Also, let me tell you this. Shout out to Parvati getting, I think she's going to be doing the paper magazine. And I'm kind of jealous. I'm going to say that, but kudos to that. That's a good step up in the game if she's on the paper magazine. I saw that today on Twitter. I don't know if it's true or not, but it looked like she is. So shout out to her for doing that. Okay, but continue.
I don't even know what the paper magazine is.
It's just another like big outlet magazine that's kind of like, GQ, like something that celebrities goes and do. Like it's like an international magazine. So I'm like, good for her. Okay, so now Dan is now like, he's like, I got to come up with a plan. Dan's doing this whole monologue about like, I came out of retirement. I had played Big Brother. Okay, let me say something. Everybody hold on tight. Okay. All right. I understand Dan being a great player, right? We understand that. Give him his flowers. It's good and all. But this whole, like, I came out of retirement. Like, if we've been, like, waiting for him to compete. Let me tell you something. If we want you to compete, we wanted Dan to do Big Brother again. We weren't waiting for Dan to come and do Traitors, okay? So it's just like, I'm all out of retirement, and this is like me. I got to really show them what I can do. Damn, baby, relax. Like, you gotta keep giving us that story. I just hate that storyline because look at Janelle. Janelle's been out the game for a while. So she's not like, oh, I came out of retirement. Or Sandra's like, I came out of retirement. Like Dan's like, it's a little too much. It's a little too much. I'm being honest, and y'all could judge me. It's a little too much. Like we're reaching now. We're reaching. Okay.
I don't know because Janelle has done Snake in the Grass. Janelle did.
What about Sandra?
Race. Sandra's played
who's Survivor. Won twice, where Dan hasn't won twice.
But Sandra's played Survivor 4 times.
The balloons are telling me that I'm right.
Sandra's played Survivor 4 times. I understand. Maybe it's getting redundant. Okay. All right.
It's just getting a little redundant. But Dan decides, he says, hey, I got to come up with a strategy. He tells Peter that he's going to finally tell everybody who he thinks the traitor is tonight. He goes, "Are you going to tell me now?" "No, I'm going to tell you at the round table." Then he goes and tells Trishelle the same thing. He's like, "I want you," and mind you, when he's giving these speeches, he's basically saying, "Please be open-minded. Please listen to me. Like, I'm trying to tell you that I'm not a traitor. I'm trying my best to try to tell you that, hey, I know who it is. Now you guys like are trying to pin me. I'm on your side." He goes and does the same thing with CT. Okay, he lets them know he's going to point out who the traitor is. Okay.
He does tell us, though, in his confessional, that he is planning to turn on one of his own fellow traitors. So he gets us ready for this round table. And right before we get into the round table, we see Parvati has a confessional and she looks a little emotional. And I'm just wondering, is
She
it
did
going
look
to be
emotional.
Parvati? Yeah, she looked like she was crying. I was like, oh my gosh, is it going to be Parvati?
Yeah.
And so we get to this round table and it's very tense. And you got a few people who are waiting on Dan's funeral. And so Dan starts and he goes into this monologue that since day one, he's been watching one person. And then he wants to play a little game. And Dan always wants to play a little game. He's always got a little trick up his sleeve. And Big Brother was his funeral. Today he wants to play a game. He wants to play the kindergarten game, raise your hand if this is you. And so he asks everyone who's had their name written down to raise your hand. So everyone raises their hand and he calls out Parvati and Sheree, Sandra, and Bergie. And he actually somehow ends up removing Sandra and removing Sheree and removing Bergie from his list of suspicions because just because they had their name written down, a bunch of garbage. All right. And that just leaves Parvati and Fedra, which are his two fellow traitors. But then he removes Parvati's vote for Kevin. And he says that removes suspicion. She voted for Kevin and that was just, and she goes, I still am suspicious of Kevin, but that's okay, Parvati. My suspicion isn't on you. My suspicion is on Traitor. And then he starts to list his reasons why. And he's been watching her from day one. She voted out Ekin-Su and then Ekin-Su got murdered. And the most important thing, the main thing that has really stood out to Dan is Fedra's breakfast behaviors. She hugged Larsa the way she hugged Larsa when Marcus, her boyfriend, was murdered. And when Tamara got voted out and she was so dramatic and, they're killing off the housewives. And then when she thought Bergie got murdered and, oh, not my Burgalicious. And so he's really tried to detail facts that he calls facts, his opinions, as suspicion to point his target at Fedra until Kate speaks up. Kate, who's only been there for one night.
1 week, interrupts his ass and goes, your points?
Yeah,
and
so
so
what?
The one thing
And
I like about Kate
sense.
is that Kate's like, I don't have time for this long-winded Big Brother speech that you need to win the $1 million at the end type of speech. Kate's like, we ain't got time for that bullshit. You went all around the circle, you playing, raise your hand, do all this type of shit. Kate's like, your point, that's her. She's extra. That's how
And
she
he goes,
is.
well, she's so extra. And she's like, have you seen her? And Fedra, Miss Queen of Comebacks, Fedra says, I do too much because you do too little.
Fuck.
Somebody got to do something because you ain't doing shit. So Fedra calls out, well, Dan, maybe you wanted to kill Bergie. Because why would I want to kill Bergie? And Bergie says, the fact that I actually trust Fedra, it seemed like she'd want to keep me around on her team. And so Parvati is calling out Peter's group. It's Parvati steps up there because she knows that the suspicion is very much so on her, even if Dan considers himself having removed his suspicion from Parvati. And Peter and Bergie are trying to keep the Faithfuls group together. They're like, don't fall for whatever she says. Don't believe it, you know. So it's Phaedra and Dan going back and forth for me, and Phaedra eating him up. I mean, I was wondering how she was going to respond and react, having been attacked, having not been expecting this attack, and him so detailing and methodically planning and articulating his attack moves. It's it so catches a person off guard when someone has an organized plan of attack and you don't even know that you're about to be attacked. So you have to get your rebuttal immediately. But he forgot. And I love that he forgot. He forgot that she is not just a housewife. She is not just a mortician. Phaedra Parks is an attorney. Phaedra Parks is not afraid to argue. She argues for a living. She is not afraid to, she's not going to back down from you, Dan Giesling, who's been in retirement. You probably should have warmed up your asshole before you came in here thinking you was going to shit on somebody.
That's my issue. That's what I'm getting at. And here's the thing. Let me just make this clear. I don't know Dan Giesling at all. He doesn't know who I am. I'm probably not. He probably doesn't see me on the same pedestal as him. And that's perfectly fine. I have no issue with him. There's no hate here. I'm talking about his game. And the thing about it is that he thought that he was going to go and target, like you said, Phaedra Parks, who's been in this game for a very long time, who's been on TV, still plays, even doing these reality shows, Real Housewives, and Married to Medicine. It's kind of like a competition show, so because you got to keep your wit sharp and be on top of your toes. Where Dan's been over here playing on fucking Twitch and shit and all that, and acting like he still can run the game as he can. Think he about to come in here and kick everybody's ass, and he played too hard. And he made plenty of mistakes. And I think that he knows that mistakes. But I do want to give him this. I appreciate him still going down swinging and trying. I'm still not a fan of how he did it. But I don't know. But I do want to play how the conversation went so we can hear it, if that's okay. Just because it was really good.
The mistake that Dan made with many of the competitors on this show is summing them up by their historic show, the history of the show that they came from. Not historic show, the history of the show that they came from. He categorized them as their skill set being what show they were from, instead of knowing who they actually are as people. Phaedra plays Traitors in real life. So before you try to come and accuse her, you better remember that she is the defender. The defender. So anyway, go ahead. Play your conversation.
No one's ever written a lot of people's name down. That doesn't mean they're a traitor.
Voting patterns. Can you explain the Ekin-Su vote?
I voted for Ekin-Su because of the issue she had with Janelle, because she changed her story. Everybody knows that.
I love that everybody knows that.
And then what about the breakfast murder reactions? Every time.
What breakfast murder reactions?
Bergie.
Not my Burgerlicious was problematic for you.
Period.
The Marcus.
Consoling
Marcus?
Larsa.
Yeah.
Was
Because I'm
problematic
consoling
for you.
Larsa?
Yeah.
A fellow housewife? What was I supposed to do?
That her boyfriend got sent home?
These are.
No, I don't understand this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the logic behind that?
The logic behind me is that it's always like a little bit extra. Like.
Have you seen her?
That's true.
I'm very extra,
okay.
baby. I do too much because you do too little. But tonight, you're doing way too much. because you know you're getting ready to get banished. So you're trying to put the heat on me, which is a crock of BS. You're Big Brother winner, not once, but twice.
Once.
Almost twice.
Once.
Whatever.
Either way, you have knowledge of this game. So if there was really a mastermind, it sure wouldn't be a dolled up housewife, baby.
Dolled up.
That would not be it. Let's not forget, Burgerlicious voted for you last night. And who got the murder one? Burgerlicious. Why? Because Dan thought that he was able to be murdered. Is that not correct?
The only thing that's a little obvious, though.
Okay, but why would I want him out? I don't have any problem with
I didn't say
Bergie.
you wanted him out.
You're saying I'm the killer?
He just messed up by that one.
I think if Fedra was thinking long game, she would keep me around because I trust her.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
But
that's
no
a
one
fair
trusts
defense.
you, darling.
Nobody likes you, Parvati.
Let me tell you something.
No one trusts you, Dan.
No, listen. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. I want to give you this. They need to stop playing with these housewives. Even myself as a competitor, I like to think I can eat people up and I might be able to play a game, but the last thing I'm going to do is get into a toe-to-toe or argument with a housewife, and especially a housewife that's been in the game for a long time, and especially a lawyer at that.
You better come ready. You better have your facts right. You better not be
'cause she
having
just
in retirement for 10 years.
Not retirement for 2 years. But let me say this. As we continue, because I want to get to this, and I do want to give Dan, his credit where it deserves at, okay? Because it's not all credit. He gets some credit. And I'm holding him to the same standard as I hold everybody else on this competition show. It is time to vote. And Phaedra's the first one up. She votes Dan. Sandra votes Dan. Peter, which I thought was very interesting, and I thought it was also strategy, votes for Parvati. He votes for her because he wants to remind everybody, if he dies, it's because of her. And he wants to make that clear. And she's just, let me tell you something, she is livid. She's pissed, okay? John, don't you forget my iconic John, okay? John, the politician, reads Dan
The quietest I've ever seen a
fib.
politician.
I have never seen, I didn't know John had more than 2 words.
Okay.
He made it clear, you are a traitor. Like, I felt like the way he was talking about Dan, it felt like fighting words, okay? He read Dan for filth also. Parvati, she votes for Dan, of course. Trishelle votes for Dan. Dan votes for Phaedra. CT votes for Dan. Sheree votes for Dan. Burgundy votes for Dan. Kate votes for Dan. MJ votes for Dan. Dan gets up there. He gives an iconic speech. He lets them know, he's played Big Brother, blah, blah, blah. This is nothing like Big Brother or whatever. He lets them know that he is a traitor, and they're all happy and scream out for joy. Let me say this, though. Just because, people like to mistrue things. Dan is a great player. We're never going to take that from him. He played an iconic game of Big Brother. Where I think Dan's downfall is that sometimes, like you just said, Tiff, and I think this is important, sometimes where you've been out of retirement, you're not really interacting with a lot of people in your community, okay? You haven't, because here's the thing, I haven't seen Dan interact with a lot of us Big Brother players, okay? And I think that when you cut yourself off from some of these new players and people in the Big Brother community, I think it could have helped him in this game, if that makes sense. Because somebody said something interesting the other day, not to pat myself in the back, but Jesse always tells people that Big Brother 23 was the most strategist, group of people, right? So far, as we have. Do I think that Dan would have been able to get away with what he did on his season with our season? Absolutely not. So I wish that Dan kind of would have just got his feet wet with kind of talking to different competitors, and just not us, like in the Big Brother community, like the new generation. I wish that he also reached out to some of the other Survivor players, because him probably just talking to his same group of people like Janelle and Rachel and whoever else probably didn't help him in this game, social-wise. That's just me saying social-wise.
So you're saying he should have pre-gamed?
Not that he could have pre-game. I just think there's certain things you have to learn. Like, I watch all these different shows, not just for, I enjoy it because entertainment, but also I watch all these different shows because of Traitor. Like, because so I'm prepared to know and interact with all these different type of people and know how they are. Research. He should have done some research, because he didn't really do that, and it just didn't feel like he was ready for it. Does that make sense? Because he definitely is a great player. So that's just my forte, and that goes for anybody who's in the new generation of playing competitions or the old generation. Get yourself out of there and start networking and talking to people. Because if you have to go back into one of these games, you never know. That's just my forte. That's all. Dan's a great player. I want to give him his credit. And there's no hate. There's no problems. I don't know him. Good for him. Congratulations. I think he did good. I'm glad he went out swinging.
On the flip side of that, you got somebody who's like Peter. Peter's from The Bachelor. He doesn't know anybody, but he's socially synced in the house, though, and I don't think he did any research before coming in. It just depends on your social game, your strategy. And
but Peter's not coming in like, I've been out the game for this long and I'm out of retirement. Like, Peter's like, man, I just did The Bachelor. Like, I'm kind of, he kind of knows how to move. That's what I'm saying. I don't think Dan knew how to move with this type of group of people. You get what I mean by that? Like, and that's just me going off of, just as he's talking about, he's been in retirement. No one has seen Dan Gaisley, just in general, I'm being honest. Not social events, not nothing, anything. And I think that plays into key when you go back into a game.
What do you think that you think that people didn't know him?
I mean, I don't think not us, because we know who he is, or people that are watching. I think some of the players didn't know who he was. Everyone know who Bananas was. And
Bananas left week 1.
Right, but I'm just saying. People know who CT is. The housewives knew who CT was. No one knew who Dan was. But I'm just saying, that's just maybe that's just me looking from the outside in of things that I feel like could have helped. And I'm just saying, little things of getting yourself out there, I think could have helped him in the long run, as of, you never know who you might run into. Because Janelle is your only friend, great, but Janelle can only get you so far. And Janelle did great social-wise.
I guess,
it's the social part that's missing from me. That's how I looked at it. It's the social part that was missing from me.
I think it's the way he was playing the game more so than the popularity he came in with or without. He's playing Traitors unlike anyone else. Everyone else is being social. Everyone else is speaking up. I don't think that the target is on him as far as being a traitor because he didn't know anybody before he came in. I think that he painted the target on himself based on the way he played the game, which was trying to play really quiet, really laid back, really not his cards very, very, very close to his chest. I'm not sure that I understand your point of him not cultivating relationships before he came into the house. If that's what got him in trouble.
And I'm sorry, Tiff. I never agree with pre-gaming. I'm saying, I think it really did show in his social game that he has been in retirement, that he is not out here interacting with other Big Brother players, Survivor players, reality stars, anything like that. I think it showed in his game.
But I don't know if you watched either of Dan's seasons on Big Brother. That's exactly how he plays on Big Brother. He's fine. He lays back in the cut. He's not the center of attention. So that's just, honestly, that's like how he plays, and you can't.
No, of course.
Yeah.
And you could do that. You could do that. You could do that back then. But what I'm saying is, before you dust off those wheels and you about to get back out here, do a little bit of I'm just saying, I think a little bit of getting yourself out there would have helped you for that game. Because social wise, he wasn't there. He could have been socially how Phaedra was. He could have been exactly how Phaedra was. And even
They have two totally different personalities. I don't agree with that.
I'm just saying, I understand they have two different personalities, Tiff. What I'm getting at is that, like you just said, the game that he played in Big Brother, lay back, not really talkative, very chill. Great for Big Brother, because you got to answer a lot of questions. You get your way to the end, things like that. But a lot of those things that people are not talking in the newer Big Brother seasons would have got your ass sent out the house. So what I'm saying is that
shit, Xavier stayed and won. He never said nothing to nobody.
He did talk, okay? He did talk. But what I'm saying is that I think that if he just got himself out there, because he says he's been in retirement, I think socially, when you get yourself out there and meet some of these other players, newer players, I think what could have helped him going into this game. That's just my forte. That's just my thoughts. I mean, I'm not sitting here trashing him. I don't know him. I think he did great. He's a phenomenal player. People call him the best of all time on Big Brother. Great. He came out of retirement. People have been waiting to see him play. They saw him play. Let people have their thoughts. I'm saying my thoughts based on him on Big Brother. Got it. Great moves. But him on Traitors, I don't think he was all that in a bag of chips.
All right. So let's go ahead and finish this episode. So Dan does realize that he went up against a very elegant lawyer, as he refers to Phaedra. He finally realizes that he bit off more than he could chew. And as Phaedra said, how dare you? He learned tonight. And he does, he reveals to the group that he's been on BB twice and he thinks that he's good at that game. And that is very self-aware to say, because when that's the first game you play, it kind of conditions you. It trains you. Like, you start off with a very plain whiteboard as far as gaming, TV, strategy, socializing goes. And I think each game conditions those people for the next game. When I play on the challenge, I see that Survivor players play totally different than Big Brother players, because they've been conditioned through Survivor. They play a Survivor game, and then we all come in playing our respective show games, but then somehow we pick up some seeds from other people and integrate some things to make us not be continuing to play the same game. But anyway, he reveals he's a traitor. The group goes haywire. Dan was not expecting to get shredded by Phaedra. I love that people keep forgetting that she's an attorney and she's not afraid. Alan reminds the group to not get comfortable. And Trishelle lets out a tip that is like in her a piece of information that's floating around in her mind right now, which is a good thought. She says she believes that Dan knew that they needed to be fed a traitor, and she believes that Phaedra is a traitor, because now that Dan has been exposed as a traitor, who would he have been trying to pin down as a traitor? And would it have been one of his fellow traitors? And I think she's on the right path I know it because I'm watching, but I think it's very wise of her to keep that information at the forefront of her thoughts. What was Dan's actual strategy? What was he trying to accomplish? And why would he pin it on Phaedra? They have already got Parvati in their sights. So it's Parvati versus Peter, and it could possibly be Phaedra versus Trishelle, but I'm not expecting Phaedra to not win that war either.
Well, Trishelle, she's really good at picking the people that she want to target.
Phaedra's really good at defending herself. So she is again an attorney. For those of you who didn't know, who may have forgotten, just to let you know, FYI, Phaedra is a lawyer.
Tiffany, you better let them know.
Yes. So we get to the turret. Both ladies are just like exhausted and overwhelmed and relieved, and Parvati admits, like, I was very vulnerable in tonight's roundtable. It got a little tricky for me. Like, what do we do? Peter is on to me. And Fedra admits it, like, yeah, and the one thing I really like about Fedra is she is such a team player. I never hear her say, well, what I want to do. Well, I think, well, for me, it's always, she is really, and I don't take that as a passive person, because when she needs to assert her opinions, or she needs to say something, she has something that she feels like needs to be said, she will say it. But she's very much like, hey, we're traitors here. I'm working with you. I realize that you're more in the fire than I am. So if this is something you feel like you need to do, if you feel like you need to go after Peter, go after him, you got to protect yourself. So she's very much a team player, and they're tossing around like the Peter thing. And then Parvati's like, I don't know, that might just put an even bigger target on my back. And then Alan knocks on the door and scares the hell out of both of them.
They both jump back. Just
is it a ghost?
Sure. They thought maybe it was one of the people. Like,
yes.
I don't blame
Who
them.
know I'm in here?
Right. Okay. So Alan comes in, and Alan lets them know, I have a request for you guys.
Yeah. He's got an opportunity for him.
Opportunity. And you guys can either recruit a new traitor, or you can murder another person.
Yeah.
Another faithful. Mm-hmm. The decision's yours, but keep in mind, you can only pick one.
Yeah. If you recruit, you can't murder. So they toss this around, and Fedra's like, I'm down. I'm down for that if that's what you want to do. If you want to recruit Peter instead of murdering him, if you want to keep your enemies close, if you feel like that's the way that you need to go, I'm fine. I don't trust him. He's not somebody that I trust, but I understand that this may be a strategy for you and you need to protect you. So I'm okay. I'm on board to help you protect yourself. And so Peter gets his recruitment letter. And he seems very perplexed. He does not know what to do. Peter's game right now has been hijacked. I hope that pilot training, that pilot safety training, has taught him what to do in a hijack moment. Because right now, Peter, your plane is being hijacked.
Yeah, it definitely is being hijacked. And right now, you either go down with the plane or you can jump with a parachute. And unfortunately, the jump of the parachute is basically joining the traitors.
Yes.
Or going down with the plane is knowing they're going to murder you.
Very true.
So it does suck. But I will tell you this works out in Peter's advantage. And here comes my big D brain that, it's really good when it works. If Peter goes, and here's my thought, if Peter goes and joins the traitors, he now has already planted the seed against Parvati, and there's already a seed against Fedra. So when he's ready to tug on that string, because they're all following him right now, he can get both of those people out, make it to the end, and take the money off for himself.
Yeah, that's the tricky part about it, because now he's on both sides. He's got an in and an out.
He got an in and out.
And he could do what Dan did if he wants, and turn on one of them when the time comes. And then here you have one original traitor who's Fedra, one recruited traitor who's Parvati, and getting snubbed by Peter, who was recruited at the very end. And I'd hate for them, especially Fedra, who's an original traitor, to lose her spot and not get anything, and someone else comes in and wins the money when she's put in most of the work.
I definitely agree. I'm excited to see how this plays out. This was a phenomenal episode. This is an Emmy-winning show. I'm sorry, it is. Everything is perfection about it. The gameplay, the characters, everything. And I want to give every single contestant a toodles for doing a great job on this show. I know this is a lot of out of comfort for some of these players, but this is phenomenal. So good job. I'm very impressed, and I hope that Dan will play again. I do want to see him play again. I don't know if that's a Big Brother All-Star, maybe a challenge, but I would love to see Dan play again, and see how he does on another competition show or Big Brother. Why not? I mean, bring him back to All Stars. Let him see. Let's see if he can keep up with the newbies coming in All Stars. I would love to see that. See what he can do.
Well, my thoughts are that.
Tiff, yes. What is your final thoughts?
I think
Sorry,
Peter.
Tiff.
I think Peter has to accept this recruit. But I do think that Peter remains faithful at heart, and I think it's going to be a challenge for him to switch his game in the middle. But because he's so connected with the faithfuls that he's been working with, and I don't know that they'll be the first ones that he'll agree to murder should he become a traitor.
He's not going to murder his people.
He's not going to murder those 5 people the Trishelle, the John, the Bergie.
He'll go for MJ. He'll go for Kevin. He'll go for he won't go for Kevin. He'll go for MJ. He'll go for Sheree.
And see, that's unfortunate because those are none of the people that the 2 traitors, Parvati and Fedra, would be looking to kill. And, I don't know. We'll see. A shout out to all of our chatters in the live chat. You all are amazing. Thanks for sticking beside us as we recap these episodes. Thanks for sharing the clips. Thanks for commenting and chatting along with us as we watch us back in shame go, oh, I said that.
Oh yeah, I definitely said a lot tonight. I don't care.
Thanks for liking and subscribing. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment in the comments. You all do a phenomenal job of commenting in the live chat, and I think we ask a lot of you. I'm gonna ask you to do one more thing. When you like this video, can you please comment in the comment section so that the people who are going to watch the episode get some kind of feedback from someone who's already watched the episode. So thanks guys.
Let us know your thoughts. Let us know if you think that Peter's gonna take it or not going to take it, and what you think it is. And me and Tiffany, we read the comments. We do. We really do take time to read it because we always want other people's feedback. Because
I read all the nice comments. If I ever see somebody saying something mean, I skip it. It's not good for my energy.
I love it. Well, Tiffany, thank you so much for always bantering and going back with me. I appreciate you and keeping me accountable. And like you always say, I need facts or I need to understand what you're saying. And I appreciate when you make me break it down. And guys, until next week, we love you.
We do. Bye.